The success of the series From can be evaluated in many ways, but that's not what we're discussing today. The core idea relies on mystery. Viewers don't know what's happening, and the human brain is wired to seek answers, which the series has yet to provide. This is because the creators have chosen to ignore key events that underpin the plot. We were not told the rules of the game between the demon and the witch, the terms of their contract, what happened in 1506, or introduced to all the participants in the game. So, if you'll allow me, I'll do that for you. Here is the junior demon, known as the Worms, one of the four main players, and these are the pawns of the rat demon. There's also the mother spider, who created the stone totems not as protection, but as weapons. If you die during the game, your soul may end up with the bird demon, who can bring you back as a vision, either to help or to interfere. For example, it could stop someone from breaking the music box or mislead and deceive them. And what about the cheerful boy in white? The town is filled with corpses. Innocent people are dead, and yet he's happy that the game is over. It all adds up. So let me introduce you to the demons of From, the history of the Beothuk tribe, and the reason behind all this madness. Welcome to Gaze for You. And today we're diving into the tragic story of a girl from the Beothuk tribe whose child was taken away from her. She made a pact with a demon, which caused the game to drag on for hundreds of years. I'll do my best to explain what's really happening in From. I promise. It's going to be interesting. Let's go. So the entire story of From begins a long time ago. In 1497, John Cabot's expedition was trying to find a sea route to India, but much like Christopher Columbus, they ended up far off course. On their journey, they came across an island off the Atlantic coast of North America. Today, we know it as Newfoundland. But what really interests us is who the native inhabitants of this island were and what their religion was, as it forms the foundation of the series. The indigenous people in question were the Beothuk tribe. Thus, John Cabot became the discoverer of new land and the first European to meet these native people during his expedition. Everything was going well until one of the crew members abducted a beautiful young woman from the tribe. Later, she gave birth to a baby boy. However, Cabot's crew accused the girl of witchcraft and sorcery because she prayed to strange forest demons. The expedition members took the child with them and abandoned the unfortunate girl in a cave, depriving her of light and, with it, the chance to escape. Sitting in the dark cave, the girl prayed to the great spirit of the forest for help. She needed light to escape and longed to reunite with her son. Her desperate call was answered by the Beothuk demon, the supreme spirit of the forest who loved to play games. He offered her a deal. If the witch could defeat him in a game, she would get her son back. Cabot and his men became the first victims of this game for the crime of taking the child away from his mother. Their decision was fatal, and they became trapped in the game. The game is divided into two sides, the sun and the moon, as well as four main players, each represented by animals: moon, crows; sun, rats, demon; worms, witch; spiders. To fulfill the terms of the deal and get her son back, the witch must win 8 times. Humans are also part of the game, and all 4 entities can use them to achieve their goals. The entire process is overseen by the living forest, which contains portals in the form of trees. These portals are designed for humans, who are considered the weakest participants. However, some portals may be traps, as Martin mentions in the series.
You go one place, come out another. Sometimes you get stuck. Sometimes you get trapped. Now that's when they get you.
In 1506, John Cabot's expedition was declared missing, as they had entered a forest they could not escape and perished there. The dates found in the lighthouse reflect key moments of the game. 1506 marks the defeat of Cabot's expedition, while 1978 represents the end of the game, with Victor being the only survivor. The Beothuk tribe worshipped forest spirits as well as one sea spirit. They were afraid of swimming and leaving the island because a powerful water demon lived in the sea. This demon resembled a giant red jellyfish. It is likely that this creature is depicted on the cave walls where the monsters sleep at night. This demon has the ability to manipulate space and time, and it is believed that he was the one who created the game's rules, preventing anyone from leaving the location of the game. This overarching concept is central to the entire series and explains many events. Therefore, we can now answer the questions I couldn't fully address in my first video. First, it becomes clear what the dates Tabitha found in the lighthouse mean. They mark the end of each game. This implies that there have been 9 games so far. How many of them the witch has won will be discussed later in this video. Second, in my previous video, I thoroughly analyzed the drawings in the underground chamber, but some aspects remained unclear. For instance, who are the people drawn in red? Now it's clear they are indigenous people. The word Beothuk translates to red people. They performed rituals to honor the forest spirit, dancing in a circular ceremonial dance. The two figures holding hands are likely the witch and her son. In the past, before roads were built, people reached the location where the Sun and Moon game took place via the river. Today, that place is known as Brandon's Pond. This is why the drawing on the left shows people in boats, with a fallen tree blocking their way. That same tree now lies across the road, but things were different back then. The symbol resembling the infinity sign represents both the moon and the sun, symbolizing the beginning of a new game. A new game starts after a solar eclipse, which is why this astronomical event is crucial for the people who accidentally became hostages of the game. By the way, the monsters often say they just want to play. I didn't pay much attention to it before, but now it all makes sense. They are indeed participants in the game. It also explains the strange behavior of the boy in white. Sometimes he helps, other times he deceives, and he looks pleased when all the townspeople die. It's the boy who releases the worm demon that was sealed inside Martin. When Sarah went through the portal, she ended up in the church, while the boy sent Boyd to free Martin. Therefore, the voice in Sarah's head tells her that Boyd was used to bring the worm demon back into the game.
It's laughing at you.
What?
For bringing it back to town. For setting it got so excited when it touched your arm.
That's exactly why Boyd's blood killed the smiley monster, because the monsters are pawns of the rat demon, while Boyd's blood already carried the worm demon. It's like a card game. It turns out that the boy in white isn't a benevolent savior. He set Boyd up and is actually a demon with his own agenda. If he truly wanted to save everyone, he could have done it long ago, just like with Tabitha. It's unclear whether everyone is fighting each other or if there are alliances between some. But one thing is certain, the worms and the bird demon oppose the rat demon. Remember the subtle hint when Victor and Tabitha in the underground tunnels see a rat devouring a crow? This symbolizes the ongoing conflict. The worms that entered the monster killed Smiley, and that's why the charms made by the Spider Witch prevent the rats from entering buildings. The theory that the talismans are connected to spiders has existed since the end of Season 1. If you connect the trees drawn in a circle, you get a spider web, and the two strange semicircles are likely the sun and the moon, one with rays, the other without. This symbolizes the opposition between day and night, the sun and the moon, the witch and the demon. The Spider Mother, or the witch, is the main opponent of all the demons in this game. I'm really curious about what happened to Boyd after the spiders bit him. Sometimes it seems like he's developed an immunity, and the night monsters don't notice him. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I have doubts. Also, it's known that the Beothuk people used to eat woodworms, and these creatures were important in their diet. They used music to lure the worms out of the trees, but I couldn't figure out exactly how. Maybe they hit the trunk in a certain rhythm. If you know, share in the comments. This idea is reflected in the series too, with the music box, the radio, and the phone. I believe the ballerina is actually the worm demon, and Boyd accidentally freed it, while Martin was merely a vessel that held the worms inside. Even though music played before Boyd encountered Martin, I'd like to mention something about the birds. The Beothuk believed that after death, some souls transformed into birds and became servants of a demon. That's why Abby, who often appears to Boyd, is a prisoner of this entity, and it's the demon who controls her soul. What's strange is that, according to Beothuk beliefs, this entity isn't considered evil. The bartender guiding Jade into the tunnels and the priest frequently advising Boyd are also pawns in the hands of this entity. All three demons and the witch are shown at the end of the credits. That's why the number 4 frequently appears. It represents the number of entities competing in the game. But the question remains, how many times does the witch need to win to get her son back? Many believe that 3 victories have already been achieved, which is why the symbol shows 3 routes. In total, there need to be 8 victories, as the forest contains 8 portal trees. These trees are also depicted on the stone amulet, and this explains the symbol on the monitor at St. Anthony's Hospital, which, for now, we believe is in the real world. I hope Tabitha made it there. On that symbol, you can see interwoven routes with 8 starting points. However, there are doubts that Tabitha is truly in the real world. First, the sum of the numbers of her hospital room once again adds up to 4 and 7, which we've seen before on the radio when Grandma Tilly mentioned them. These numbers also appear on the cards in the lighthouse, 4, 7, and 8. Another important detail is color. One of the viewers noticed that blue and yellow are frequently used throughout the series, in refrigerators, cabinets, chairs, clothes, swings, the bus, and other objects. When I rewatched the episodes with this in mind, I realized how often these colors appear. The hospital also features blue and yellow prominently. Look at the dishes on the table in Tabitha's room. However, there are no people visible outside the hospital window. I hope that Tabitha really is in the real world, and that the use of colors is symbolic. Perhaps yellow symbolizes the sun and day, while blue represents the moon and night. For now, I have no other explanation. There are 3 more points I couldn't address in my first analysis. The word Anqui. In the Beothuk language, it means means tree or trees. What happens to Fatima when she tries to drown Elgin in the bathtub? It's clear that Fatima begins to dry out. Some forum theories suggest that the child she's carrying will grow too quickly and start draining her life force. This might mean that Fatima could die in Season 3. There's even a theory that Elgin is her unborn son, the voice on the radio that answers Jim. Many believe it's Christopher, the person who drew the interwoven roots hundreds of times in his journal. His image also appears in a photograph, and Victor says that Christopher made a deal with a demon and survived. He disappeared shortly before the town's residents were wiped out. One more crucial moment. When Boyd lights the torch, he finds himself in an anomaly. Light was the first thing the witch asked from the demon to escape the dungeon, which means light plays an important role in the plot. It remains unclear whether all the demons need to be defeated, or if the game consists of multiple levels. Perhaps there are 7 levels, as the number 7 frequently appears throughout the 2 seasons. When the witch wins and all the roots are fully intertwined, the 8th tree will open a portal to the real world, allowing everyone to escape. This could be a logical conclusion to the series, although things could go in a different direction. The creators of the show skillfully manipulate viewers' expectations, withholding answers and keeping everyone waiting for new episodes and seasons. The main challenge will be not to drag the game out for too long, as that could disappoint fans, just like what happened with Lost. I hope the 3rd season will bring more answers. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments.